Live. Hello and welcome to the Social Recruiting Show. I'm Katrina Collier. I'm a social recruiting trainer and speaker. I'm of course joined by my gorgeous co-host Audra Knight, who is an employer branding genius. Maybe or maybe not has a cast. It may well have been removed because of stalkers. Purple hair, bass player, and just awesome all-round chick. Today, very, very, very excited by the power of the internet to have Vanessa Raath joining in from all the way from South Africa. She is head of talent at IS Partners. Welcome to the show. It's very exciting to have you.
Thank you very much. Thanks, ladies. Good to be here.
Right. Thanks for coming on, Vanessa. Will you tell us a little bit about your career and what you're doing now at your company?
Sure, absolutely. So I don't essentially come from a recruitment background. I suppose no one really studies to go into recruitment these days. I started off as a teacher. So I taught very successfully for 7 or 8 years based in the UK. It was fantastic. I loved it. Really cool profession. Then I scheduled my early midlife crisis and I decided to go and live in Thailand, and I did, and I lived there and I trained as a scuba diving instructor. And then I traveled around Southeast Asia doing a little bit of diving. I then moved to Africa because I wanted to be closer to home. So I did a few dives off Zanzibar and worked a bit along there.
I love Zanzibar.
Stunning, very, very cool.
Isn't it beautiful?
Then I boarded diving. I got bent too many times, if the truth be known. I was starting to walk around a little bit funny. So then I started doing some more tours inland, Masai Mara, those kind of things. And then it was just time to come home. I woke up one morning and thought that was it. You know, it's 12 years I've been away from home. Time to pack my bags and head off home back to the
some
phone.
adulting.
I know. So by then I was into my 30s, so I thought, okay, time to grow up. Moved back to Africa, went for an interview at a recruitment agency because I thought, let me go and get into some adult education now because I'm not too sure I want to go back to the classroom. Unfortunately, it doesn't pay that well in South Africa. And went and had an interview with the recruiter. The recruiter was quite adamant that there was no ways that I should be doing anything else but recruiting. I had no idea. I even had to borrow clothes from my mother to go for my first interview. That was how bad it was. My hair was about this short because I had to cut my dreadlocks off because I'd had dreadlocks for 3 years. You know, it was beautiful. So kind of fed into recruitment. Spent 2 years as a corporate recruiter as part of the South African version of the Kelly Group.
Yeah.
Then was headhunted to where I am now, and now I've been here for 8 years. And
so now you're inside or your agency?
So I did 2 years agency, totally external. Then I was hired by an IT company to do all of their recruitment. But it gets a little bit confusing because during that time I have run the external side of the agency. So there's different companies within the holding company, right? And I've run the external, the recruitment side of the business. And that's an external recruitment agency. Yeah. But I've moved away from that over the last, let me say, 4 years. I've had recruitment managers running that business, and I've focused mainly on internal recruitment, mainly because we're growing so quickly.
Yeah. And is it similar to here, though, where in general there's sort of, I mean, yeah, there are more jobs, but there are, you know, there's a lot more recruitment going on in-house. That makes sense, rather than...
Definitely in the 10 years that I've been in recruitment in South Africa, there's been a definite move to hiring your internal recruiters. Yeah. I don't think that they're very effective. That's just, you know, my opinion. They don't always have...
You, obviously.
Well, I like to think that I added a little bit of difference to it. But yes, so there are external agencies here. There are internal. So I've kind of had my hand in both pies, or should I say at the moment, because I've had to be involved in the external side and the internal side. I way prefer the internal side, so I've gravitated more to that. So now I'm sitting as head of talent acquisition, which is very broad because I'm also doing a lot of studying towards employee branding, social media marketing, because I feel it's a lot more than just recruitment these days. We all know the war for talent, you know, we know it's over, we know the candidates have won, so on and so forth. So now we need to attract people to the organization. That's what I'm very much involved in. So I run the group's Facebook page, Twitter feed. I'm working on growing those at the moment, and just not just doing talent acquisition. You know, just kind of morphing it and trying to make more of the role, which I'm hopefully doing successfully.
Okay, you need to explain something though, which is completely off topic. Before we go back to Audra's favorite topic of employer branding, the squirrels.
Okay, so
because it's nothing to do with purple squirrels and sourcing or anything like that, right?
Not really. So the squirrel is actually my nickname that I picked up from a bunch of mates here. So I've had several nicknames throughout my life. I take it as a compliment when I get a nickname from people, I hope. And yeah, so squirrel is the whole, goes with the whole ADHD thing, always busy, like doing different things, trying something new, friendly, all of those kind of things. So my nickname is actually Squirrel Van. So that's pretty much what I go by these days.
Squirrel
so
Van. Squirrel what?
Sorry?
Squirrel what? I missed
Squirrel
that.
Van.
Squirrel Van. So the surname.
Got it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So that's it. So yeah, it's either the squirrel or the Labrador, down to the personality that I have. That everyone's just great, and I love people and things like that. Yeah.
Very cool.
Brilliant. I love that idea. So how it's interesting. It's exactly the same as the rest of the world, because you would think it would be different for I don't know what reason. It's in Africa, but how do you get your information then? Being that that was one of the things we were going to talk about. How like Audra was saying, how do you guys know each other? And we're like, Twitter maybe.
So I think talking about employee branding and social media and all of those things, I really feel that that's just an extension of anyone's personality. So I'm a friendly person. I'll go and talk to strangers. I make friends with the petrol pump attendant, with the guy who comes and sells fudge at our officers. I mean, I know about his wife.
Someone who brings you fudge. Yeah. How do you get fudge? I want fudge. How does that happen?
Do you guys know what biltong is? Do you guys know what biltong is? Oh, good on you. Okay. It's like dried meat. I think you call it jerky, Audra.
Yeah.
I want the fudge. How do you get the fudge? Do they?
No.
They can jump on a plane.
I'll send photos. I'll send photos of all the fudge guy.
That's good for employee branding. I want to work at a company that sells fudge and jerky.
I haven't even got started on what else we do. So social media is an extension of your personality. So I think just by being friendly in real life, it kind of spills over into my social media platforms. And I think there's also a lot to be said for giving back. So it's amazing how social media, you can actually make friends. So as Katrina says, this is the first time we've actually spoken to each other, but we've built a relationship. But, it's all been via Instagram or Twitter or Facebook, because we don't really have people like you guys in South Africa that we can learn from. So if you want to be on top of your game, so my idea would be the best IT recruiter that there is out there. I need to learn from you guys. I need to stay ahead of my competitors by learning the sourcing techniques from Katrina and looking at what Audra has done and what she's achieved. And I love all of Audra's work and on employee branding, because I'm also very passionate about that. So it's fantastic, because there's no one really in South Africa who's doing that. We found that South Africa is about 2 or 3 years behind the curve. So whatever happens to you guys, hopefully not Brexit and Trump, hopefully,
Is that what, an orange leader? It's just a big shame.
No. And that normally hits us like 2 or 3 years later in a way. So we can like preempt it. So, when Facebook broke as being the next best tool for sourcing, as opposed to LinkedIn, when we saw LinkedIn was started to get funny with people, I saw it coming. Okay, right, let's get more into Facebook and let's start growing my network there. So it's just good to learn from you guys.
That's
cool though, because you can have such an influence over there too. It's be forward thinking. So it's kind of cool that you can be the first to be doing stuff.
And it's really interesting. I mean, I'm really interested in all of this. I don't do it because for any other reason, but it's fascinating. So
I think it's really extraordinary that Twitter apparently had no user growth in the last quarter, which I find weird, because they've still got a more active user base than LinkedIn does. But that's where we all chit chat and banter, and you run your great. Is it your? I forgot what it's called.
Job advice. Yeah, I'll tell you guys about that.
What's the hashtag? Job advice.
Hashtag job advice SA. Yeah, I'll talk to you.
I'm being attacked by the spaniel if I suddenly pull faces.
No, don't let us. I have cats.
And now my headset's fallen out.
Talking about before that, the job advice thing is, as you're saying, Audra, is that you could be the thought leader, in the area. So there's actually 2 other guys that I run job advice with. That's Wesley and Tim Barry. Now, Tim Barry's, I think you know him, Katrina. He's a Welsh guy. And
he's no-showed the show.
I know. I mean, we had to go and do something. I mean, what's that all about?
He was pretty off getting his nails done.
Totally. Wesley's a Zimbabwean guy, and the 3 of us actually co-host a Twitter chat every Monday at 4. Alzette, who's also on our Twitter. So is also one of our regular attendees. So yeah, 4 o'clock on Monday afternoon, Audra, I don't know what your time difference is, but I don't know, stay up really late one Sunday. And what we do is
what time is it again?
4 o'clock South African time, so 3 o'clock your time.
So 9
now.
9 in the morning.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's cool. I didn't know about that. I'll check it out.
10 o'clock. That's perfectly civilized. It's the same time as right now, normally.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
I thought you said it was 5 now, not 4.
Oh, 5. Sorry, I'm not hearing you.
Okay. No, it's 10 past 4 here now.
Right.
Oh, it is. Okay, great.
Yes. So
cool.
what we have 4 questions, and I normally just get the questions from the job advice community. So I've actually thrown out a couple of tweets today. Guys, I'm hosting on Monday. What do you want to ask? So one of the questions that's come back is, I've been asked to do an executive summary for one of my interviews. What is that? Or the other one was, do we still put a cover letter with our CV? So I will take those on board, and then we'll push out the questions, one every 15 minutes, and then we get people to answer us.
That's a really, what the hell is an executive summary? But
exactly. I was going to ask you guys.
I have no idea. Hey, Billy. I have no idea. That's like.
Yeah, so we have to tune in on Sunday.
On Monday, I'll be there because it's like, I don't know. I mean, I know what I think about the cover. I think that they should absolutely go, like, please attach my CV. I have the skills you're looking for, read it, but that's about it.
Like, haven't read a cover letter in years.
Not the actual attachment cover letter, but in the covering email.
Yeah, absolutely.
Actually tell the recruiter that you've got the skills that they want, so they actually look at it.
Absolutely.
Other than that, who cares?
No, absolutely. So that's what we do. So that's kind of like how we give back. And I'm surprised to see that you were saying about the Twitter numbers, because Twitter is actually the cheapest social media platform in Africa. So obviously Africa, we're not the richest continent, let's face it. We're rich in what people can give you, but we're not rich financially. And Twitter is the cheapest from a data usage perspective. A lot of our providers actually give free Twitter. So it's actually cheaper than for a lot of our people to go onto Facebook. So we get a massive following on Twitter with regards to job advice. It's really cool. And
would that be the same across Africa, or is it South Africa?
No, it's pretty much across Africa. South Africa will probably be the most advanced when it comes to this.
So when you're talking about something to be speaking about here or at SOSU, for example, or SourceCon at SOSU, etc., that sort of a thing, like why, if you're recruiting in somewhere like Africa or in a developing country, why you should embrace Twitter. I mean, I love it. I think it's amazing. So I don't get...
Yeah,
I know it's the reason I speak. It were all the places I speak because it's got reach.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm stunned at what their stats were.
Hope it doesn't go away completely. That would be so sad.
I don't think it's not going anywhere. They've actually made more money or something like that, but it was just.
We just have to hope that Microsoft doesn't bite.
Good point. Actually, there's another one that buys one and shut them down. I can't think who that was. Someone was telling me about that the other day. Oh, I love John Rose. He's answered. An exec summary is a one-page profile overview with targeted info for a role in a company.
If I just write that down for Monday's chat then?
Yeah, just claim it as your own. Characters. You can pop back on Monday and copy and paste.
Yeah. We're on Monday, 4 o'clock South African time.
Be there at 3 o'clock our time, John. You can do it. It moves really fast, though. That's what I find really funny with your chat. There's so many people on it. It's really cool.
Yeah, no, it's complete chaos. But it's such a great way to end a Monday because, we don't get paid for it. We don't make anything out of it, but we just give back. And we've literally, I can see it. We've helped people find jobs. And that's just incredible. Like, I've never found anyone that I've personally placed because I've recruited such a high caliber. And, you really do get sick and tired of placing those people who quibble over getting like an extra 150,000 Rand a month or finding someone their first job. I mean, the feeling is just so completely different, and the gratitude and all of those things. It's just so wonderful to help these young guys who are so hungry to work and girls. And it's brilliant. It's really nice to make a difference. Really great.
That's awesome.
I like that idea.
I want to go back to some of your employment branding stuff. So do you have separate careers channels, or do you run or intermingle with your corporate channels, like for Facebook or Twitter?
So what I do from the, we're not really a corporate. I don't like to think of us as a corporate at the moment. So what I run on Facebook is more of it's a group for the business. So it's very much around the people and what we do and like all the fun stuff we get up to. So this morning I ran around and I took photos of everyone who was wearing branded kit, like show off a little bit here.
Okay. That would be ISP,
branded
partners.
Exactly. So, so just like the fun stuff that we do, what else did I post this week? So we had a bit of a throwback because 7 years ago, we all did a big company race and event together. So I posted that. And it's more about, for me, before people join the company, that they see what we're about, what we do. Sure, if clients want to join, I have no issues with that. But it's not, I'm not there looking for clients. I'm looking to show what we're about as a group of people, because that for me is going to attract people more than anything else.
But why did you pick a group over a business page? That's different. I can see how the engagement would be much better.
Because there are already business pages within the businesses. So because this is our holding company that doesn't really operate as a business, there's already a business page for It's About People on Facebook. There's already one for Carabiner. There's already one for Zeta. And that's more the professional side where they're trying to attract the clients and look at the training that we're doing. And we've just won this award. We are included, but I just want to add a little bit more fun to it because it's not always just about that. So if we do have an achievement or we do something great, I'll always show it, but I'll probably show it in a more lighthearted way.
So can people see that on the search? So they search in Facebook for the group, or you just tell everybody?
The IS Partners group, and then they can join, and then they can follow and see what we get up to. I mean, we're really lucky here because they really do look after us. We're a consulting firm, so as you know, your consultants are your IP. You've got to look after your people, and it's a very mature environment. So what they've done is they've actually just built us this fabulous rooftop bar. So that's probably where my whole staff are now, because I see nobody walking around outside here. Go chill.
For your long lunch, won't you?
Yeah, exactly. You've worked hard this week. You've made a good couple of placements coming up to month end. All of those things. So go and enjoy it. So that's the kind of things that I want to show.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more about us.
And is it how many are you as a company?
There's about 150 of us all up here. We've got 20 down in Cape Town and a couple of remote workers in Durban. We are looking
Where's up here?
Johannesburg.
Joburg. Okay. Yeah. I should know that, but
The big smoke.
Hey, I got you on the map. I didn't get you exactly on the map.
I'm impressed with that to begin with.
I can't get over how many squirrel gifts there were. I was having so much fun with that.
There actually are. And you know what? So there's a group of us that are actually known as the Squirrels. And we've actually had running shirts made. So we've all got like squirrel and our names on the back of them.
Yeah.
And so I'll be doing a running race and people always stop me and say, hey, why are you called a squirrel? Normally when you're like up a steep hill like this and you've got no gear anyway to try and explain it. But yeah, it's cool.
No, I like that idea. Actually, Audra and I have got a bit obsessed with scheduling GIFs, haven't we? Now we've discovered that you can do that. So you can go into Giphy, download the low-res version, and then upload it into Buffer so you can schedule it. So you can have them talking. So that's what I've been doing all week because I've obviously not been around all of it. So, yeah.
My goal in life is to talk only in GIFs.
Honestly, I think I could. I can't talk in emoji, but I could talk in GIF.
I'm so glad they've come to Facebook. I used to love them on Twitter.
I just wish they'd come to LinkedIn. It'd be so much fun. It might actually, instead of potentially introducing the ability to do actual live videos, they should.
What do you guys think about the filters for the photos on LinkedIn? I thought that was so bizarre.
I was so weird that you found out so late. It's been around for ages. I haven't got it, but you obviously just got it. But it's been around for months.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't use LinkedIn very often.
What is that with the filters?
Is it just for your profile picture or for any picture?
Oh, it's like an Instagram. You can change the filter. Yeah. I never knew that either. There we go. But that's normal in South Africa. I hear these things from you guys, and then I'll go and see whether it's...
no, so we don't have it yet. So usually America gets it, then eventually the UK gets it, and then the rest of the world gets it. So we're usually after the US, but
it sounds pretty useless, let's be honest.
Well, they just don't seem to know what will get us going on there, and that is not... something. And what got me was when I saw someone doing a video. So she's got actually I've just upgraded my app, but I don't know if I've got it. You can just record a video straight up. But that's great if your audience is on LinkedIn, which this particular person's audience was. But if it's just, you're recruiting developers, don't write a video on LinkedIn.
No, absolutely not. Audra, Katrina, you're not a massive fan of LinkedIn, no?
Oh, hang on. Maybe I do.
Oh.
I I'm not a fan of LinkedIn, no. Sorry,
No,
I'm just working out if I can do a video or not. No, I can't. Say that again?
I picked that up from your posts and your blogs. It's very entertaining. It makes me chuckle.
We use it a lot for, we have 2 or 3 recruiters that just specifically recruit salespeople.
Okay.
So for them, it's fantastic because that's where the salespeople are hanging out.
There, so that's right. Okay. But okay, so I mean, what's your IT consultancy? What skill set?
So we specialize in the Microsoft application space. So business intelligence, CRM, SharePoint. So South Africa is very much behind the curve. So we do find a lot of people still on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
However, I mean, following you and following your warnings and all of those things, I really think that LinkedIn is going to turn around and make it really exorbitant. I mean, for us to have a membership as recruiters, I mean, they're gearing up to do that themselves. Let's face it.
The fact is that you can't, they've got it all asked about face instead of focusing on getting everyone on there so that when you do pay a fortune for the LinkedIn license, you get a great response. So, I mean, I know I trained, bless her name's gone out of my head, but a ClickView consultancy. So she's looking for ClickView people in South Africa. So like you, they need to be able to speak to the business and speak tech. It's quite hard. But she's struggling with LinkedIn. Like it's just, she's just not finding people. They're not responding. Contract, yes. Permanent, no. And it's, they're just not, they're not active. And it's, that's my frustration. But also you as a consultancy, if you started saying to your clients, no, we're not delivering that anymore for you unless you pay extra, or actually we've just got rid of it. Your clients will go, no, I'm paying you for the service. We agree to service. You don't just get to take that off me.
Exactly.
And most of us in the recruitment space are paying something. So
exactly, 100%. I totally agree. And I think that that's a big problem with South African recruiters is that everyone thinks that LinkedIn's like Christmas for every day and everybody's on there. Yeah. And they don't realize that you're really not going to be finding people on there for too much longer. I mean, we're starting to get going like the GitHubs and the Stack Overflows and things like that where we're finding the developers. But it's a lot more down to networking and like who knows who. And so, for example, September and October, I'm presenting at Microsoft SQL Saturday. I'm presenting at SharePoint Saturday. And I think that, there's a lot of people out there who aren't doing those things in the recruitment space. They're not kind of building a community, a network around them. They're just relying on cold calling people. And, if they're not a specialist, they can't talk the language. So people want to talk to someone who really understands what they're looking for. And, it's just not great. I think that's why a lot of recruiters in South Africa don't really have a good name. I mean, I don't know if it's the same in the UK and the US, but we kind of like lumped into the secondhand car salesman or estate agent or, and shouldn't be that way. If you're part of a community and you're networked and you're presenting a community event, that for me is the way forward. It's about being real. It's about being a person.
I think that the likes of LinkedIn and a lot of the tools that are coming out, they've just made it too easy to be lazy. And that's why globally, in my opinion, that we are now being seen that way. I mean, there's always been a resistance anyway. So if you're on the agency side, because you were taking a cut of the contractor's fee, for example, then you were scum because how dare you, even though you got them the opportunity. But so there's always been that look at it, which is crazy again, because, we place the people who make the company. It's not the logo or the branding, it's the people that make the company. But I just think that the lazier people can be and the more they can hide behind tech instead of using it, to create great messaging or conversations or community, all that stuff you're talking about, then we're always going to be seen that way. But I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. I think there's going to be an eventual, everyone's just overloaded with the noise. So therefore, you've got to do something different because everyone's just like,
and also, you've got to add value as a recruiter. If you're an internal recruiter, you're an external recruiter, you have to add value. And I think that's where South Africans are falling down. They're not differentiating themselves enough to add value. So I can literally see the future of the South African external recruiter falling away because they're not adding enough in order to keep themselves that the companies can't do without them. And it's pretty sad to see, to be honest. The internal recruiters aren't much better. And there's a lot of talk about AI, and I know that we're way behind in that. And from South African perspective, I'm interested to see what happens in the UK and the US in that space too. Because I firmly feel that you're never going to get rid of the recruiter or the talent acquisition specialist. You really and truly, you shouldn't. If you've gotten rid of, you haven't done your job properly. is my opinion.
My understanding is AI in robotics, etc. And I know there's a few people down the side who are experts, so feel free to jump in and argue. But my understanding is it will never get rid of that creative thinking and the capability of emotion and empathy and all that sort of stuff. And I think that's where recruiters can come in. Yes, use it for your scheduling, use it for all of those mundane tasks that are repetitive, maybe chasing your hiring managers. That'd be quite handy.
I'd love it if someone could sift through my pile of CVs, and just find the ones with the keywords I'm looking for. Perfect.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So, Michael, are you saying that AI is good at sniffing out bullshit, or we are?
Yeah, people. I think he's saying that people are good at that.
Yeah, but apparently, then again, we're maybe not. That's why there's all those tools, aren't there?
That's why you need interview trainings for some people.
I'm bad. I just trust my gut.
Well, that's it. How do you teach a machine a gut feel? I mean, that's what we have as recruiters, isn't it? I mean, that's the edge we give.
But maybe that's not a good thing. Maybe your gut feel stinks. Depends. Mine's pretty bad.
Is it?
Depends on yes.
See, that's my issue also with being the Labrador. I really like everyone. So sometimes I do need to train me in a bit because I think everyone's just great. So
I love that you just called yourself the Labrador. That's really cool. So what's a dog that loves everybody but's really just knows who to avoid? That would be me. Whatever dog that is. Yep. Anyway, swiftly on. That's quite funny. So Elzette's written down here, you still need the humans to attract the other humans. That's where the recruitment advertising marketing side comes in. The creative side.
Yeah, that's where Elzette's really good.
Yeah, so the AI can be used to schedule it, and maybe target better, to find people better, but it's still got to have the creative. That's okay.
Yeah,
I worked out the word was missing. Thank God.
And just the final stages of talking to people, it has to be a person, like making the offer and negotiating. I would think it has to be a person, but maybe I'm wrong.
I actually completely agree with Michael there. You will be replaced if you are a shocking recruiter. And then basically you should be replaced, because as soon as people lose that human side of recruitment, I promise you they should actually just be dragged out into the street and shot, because you're playing with people's lives. It's not fair to people.
I think we've forgotten that. I think, again, that tech has made us forget that, oh my God, like not for a contractor or, a freelancer, but for anybody else to change jobs. There's that, is it actually going to be what they say it's going to be? What if I'm jumping from the frying pan to the fire? What if the commute's shit? What if I don't like the people? Like, oh my God, it's huge, let alone all the career aspects of it.
And I think that it's almost like as society, it's happening, you're starting to lose that empathy for your fellow human being. And we must never let it come into recruitment, because it's such a stressful thing for someone to change jobs.
Yeah, I think we forget it day to day.
Yeah, we do. We do. I mean, I was in a talent forum yesterday with colleagues of mine. So we get together with HR and talent acquisition and our people managers, because all the consultants get signed a people manager, and looking at how we can make things easier. So when the candidate signs, then we can start automating emails. So we send one 4 weeks before they start, 3 weeks. And every email has a little bit more information. Okay, this is how you're going to change your medical aid. Come and join our Facebook page. All of those kind of things, just to smooth the process. Because with the scarce skills in South Africa at the moment, I don't know if you guys are finding this, is that I lose so many candidates to counter offers. I really and truly do, because they're such a scarce skill. Diversity is, I'm actually chuckling, because I think this is an area that South Africa is ahead of you guys for a change. That diversity is becoming quite a big thing, especially in the US, Audra. I'm noticing a lot of the conferences that have that theme. We've had that for years over here, where it's called BE, Black Business, Black Empowerment. And how certain roles we can only hire people of color into, and all of those things. And it really does make it difficult, because a lot of people don't have the right skills that fall into that kind of ethnic group, and it does make life quite difficult from that side. So recruitment in South Africa, that is a whole new challenge that I don't know whether you guys have on a day-to-day basis.
No, we do. I think they do. I mean, I'm not a diversity expert, but I have got at my next Disrupt HR, Nick Texera is actually, I mean, she's not going to say it as bluntly as this, but she's basically saying, are you hiring me because I'm female, brown, or because I can do the job? Like, it's because she is of Indian descent, female, British born, which means she is 1% of the population. But we have to have our diverse teams. And she's just sort of saying, well, sometimes I don't actually want to be singled out. To me, I'm British. I don't feel any of those things. And she gets singled out by other British-born Indian descent people who sing, and she goes, I don't like it. I can do the job. So it's actually the flip side of what we're talking about. It's going to be really
interesting.
Fun. Yeah, I can't wait. I keep sending her stuff, like pictures of all female, all white teams going, where's the diversity here? You know, and it's actually women doing that to men and things like that. I'm having a ball. I'm hoping it'll be fun, I think.
It's actually a very interesting topic. I mean, South Africa is such a politically charged country, and, you know, we all know our history with the apartheid and all of that. So it's trying to address the rights of the wrong, but it's very difficult to find people, you know, of those levels who have maybe got the MBA or whatever is needed from a qualification perspective. And if you do find them, their salaries are ridiculously expensive. Yeah.
So LZs, I'd rather be offered a job for my skills than for the 1 point I am worth for the company's BEE status. Yeah.
So what do you do if you know that for a role you can't offer as much money as maybe your competitors? Is that where you try and talk about other benefits and the jerky?
yeah, absolutely. That's what we you know, different structures, and it's actually quite difficult because you could have the perfect candidate sitting there, but the only thing that's stopping them from my lights just went out. The only thing that's stopping them from
those groovy, I have to wave my hand around lights.
Here I am in darkest Africa.
We get the sticks out, light the fire. I have been to Africa. I just caveat that. I know this isn't the truth, just in case somebody gets offended by what I just said.
No need to be offended. It's still sun's still shining anyway. Yeah. So it's really difficult because, I mean, often you got a perfect candidate for the role, but the only thing that's stopping them is the skin color. Yeah. It's really difficult.
Wow.
Yeah, it's tough, and it's been going on like that for years, and it counts towards points that you get. So, say, for example, a female of color sitting in a CIO or a CEO position would earn points for the business. So if you were to put a white male into the same position, there would be no points. Then they work it so that, you know, the businesses that you work with, you would you can only work with them if they're a certain BEE score or BEE level. So, for example, the It's About People team here are, we've got 3 black people, and the rest are white people, but our BEE scores are level 4. So we've got some big corporates that won't work with us because we need to be a level 2 or a level 1. The only way to get there is to be owned by a black female.
Wow.
It's really, I tell you what, it's something else in Africa.
That's crazy. But, you know, going back pre-internet, you know, I've been able to, we were talking about social media and the power of it. I've been able to become like this expert, very knowledgeable, very well known in my field. And that's actually broken down that procurement issue of I'm a one-person company delivering to a big corporate. And I can now get away with that now. Whereas in the past, it used to be what you're talking about, that kind of stupid little rules that got put in place that, well, we can't deal with you because you're not this. It's like, well, you know, come on, do you need this delivered or don't you?
And you know, as much as you try and you know, put someone in the company's hands are tied. You know, that's it. You can't do anything.
What's going on down here? I missed something. There's someone saying, "Don't tell Trump about that, Audra." What's going on? What did I miss?
I'm sure you can take points. Ask them how many BE points they're worth. Go for it.
Truly.
So, did you guys see that picture of his interns? It was like 200 young white rich adult like kids out of college. Yeah. There was like one person of like color stuck in the back.
I think what's terrifying is the giggle. Like, no offense to Audra, but this, like, everyone's now just laughing at it because there's nothing you can do, is there? It's just like, oh, this is a joke. I think John makes a really important point here, though, as well. Diversity is not only gender or ethnicity. And yet that is what thought leaders are focused on. And that's really, really true. Mm-hmm. She's run away. She's gone. Where did our guest go?
I don't want to sit in the dark anymore. Yeah, absolutely. You know, diversity does come down to gender. And, I mean, you also get points here for people who are disabled. So if you take on people who are disabled, then they count for more BE points. Yeah. So there really is a big drive towards that and people of color. And it really adds a really difficult dimension to recruiting in South Africa.
For sure. can see that.
I'm dating a double amputee, and I noticed the way that now that I notice one
you get 2 points for that.
Yeah, but yeah, I get extra points. But more that how the roads are just hilarious. I've never looked at London from a wheelchair user point of view, but also the fact that it is never mentioned in diversity at all. So we will admit, we'll do the gay, we'll do the transgender, we'll do the female, all this. Just don't worry about anybody who might need wheelchair access. Doesn't mean you can't do the job. He just needs to roll in. It's like, yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Just has to be wheelchair friendly. Just has to be wheelchair friendly.
Yeah, it's more than capable every other way. So, well.
So I just want to also answer
John's respect, to be fair.
John's question is, BE give points for veterans. Well, we don't really have vets. I mean, we don't have an army that goes off and so no, right. It's not. It's actually got a rating. So, you know, like a black person would have a more higher rating. Black and Chinese are actually on the same scale, followed by Indian and colored people, and then white people get the lowest score. So you have to try and fill.
Like reverse racism in my head, but anyway.
Yeah, a little bit.
I have heard that phrase mentioned more than once about it, but it's the government. I mean, that's what we're restricted to.
I'd really struggle with it because I just don't see colour. Because like growing up in Australia, I mean, yes, of course we have our own issues and, you know, lots of pockets in Sydney that are unintegrated. But in general, I just see people as people, and so I would struggle. I'd find it really hard to be politically correct as well, I think. So Elzette is hard of hearing, so gets a point. Bless her. Didn't know you were hard of hearing. That's no good.
I get a point for my ADD apparently.
Oh, so you actually have that. You're not just getting. Oh, okay, right.
Exactly. Can you not tell?
No. Michael's written here, Vanessa, I'll ask about the points, but they talk funny even by Texas standards. All I understand in Afrikaans is that they keep telling me to buy a donkey.
You know what that is? So in Afrikaans, to say thank you is buy a donkey. Buy a donkey.
Buy a donkey.
Yeah, there we go, buy a donkey.
Oh, that's funny.
John, have you been living in South Africa or something? He's understanding, so he's been all over, so it wouldn't surprise me.
Well, that sounds quite cool. That's another massive problem facing South Africa, if you want to look at South African recruitment, is I'm losing loads and loads of candidates at the moment because South Africans are good. We've got a good reputation out there, hard workers. We
love
normally
you.
Motivated. Yeah, well, I like to think so. It'd be lovely. But what happens is that we are, you know, the country's not always, it's not that politically stable. I mean, we're not known as the safest place. I mean, living in Joburg and, you know, we're called Gangsters Paradise and all of those things. So a lot of people are offered to move, and then it's seen as the safer option for them to move and take their kids out of the country and to raise them somewhere else where, you know, every country's got its own challenges and all of those things. So we lose a lot of our top candidates. It's actually called the brain drain to... At the moment, our biggest ones are the UK, but that has slowed down since Brexit.
Strangely.
New Zealand, Australia, a couple to the States, not so many to the States. But
you're not alone. It probably doesn't make you feel any better, but you're not alone. I mean, Eastern Europe had that for a long time, but they're now, due to Brexit, a lot are moving back because they can now earn the same money. But also, I know when I was in Israel in January, they had the same. It's quite, particularly in STEM, everything in STEM.
Yeah.
So, and it's funny because we probably, Audra and I, in a way, both now have an unstable government because Brexit's just making everyone apprehensive here, and no doubt the orange being is as well. So, I refuse to use his name, sorry. Michael, when I was in sales, I love working with folks from SA. When they worked in Asia Pac, they actually worked. Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they do. We do. We're hardworking people. There's a company called Homecoming Reach that's trying their best to get
our people back.
Yeah, no, absolutely. LZ, those Homecoming Revolution guys are good. Faye and Angel, they really are good. But you know what? It's difficult though because you don't get anywhere on a South African passport. So I mean, I couldn't immigrate. I mean, to the UK or the US. I came to the UK for so long because I had an ancestral visa because my gran was born in Scotland, and I think actually lived in Scotland for all of 5 days before she got on a boat to South Africa. But I mean, you got it, you must use it. And then I got my British passport from being there for quite a while. And it's very difficult on a South African passport to immigrate anywhere unless you get anywhere on a scarce skills kind of visa. So people who are sitting here maybe might even just be mediocre in their jobs, but they've got the skills that are needed. And it's an opportunity which they can't afford to turn down because they're never going to get there on their own steam. They will and it's a massive issue. I mean, we're losing people from the business, as well as people who I have in my recruitment process who are like, well, the company's closed. I have been approached by 2 other companies overseas. They're my first option. I mean, how do you fight against that? We can't change the political climate in the country.
Well, look, it's really, really easy. What you tell them is it rains all the time in London. That should work.
100%.
Of course, it's not true. I'm just throwing that out there. It's not true. We had next to no rain this year. However,
no, I think we had a good summer. Wasn't it on a Wednesday?
No, we had an entire month of summer, and now I'm not sure. Well, it's July. What do you expect? It's grey. My feet are actually in UGG boots, but anyway. But yeah, no, but I mean, I get what you're saying. I think it's interesting because you could probably scare them off with Brexit, though.
You know what? You could, but I think it's still seen as better than the perceived violence that we have over here.
Yeah. We don't.
And that's pretty scary, and it is. And if you've got a young family and you've got young kids, it is a scary thing. I get it.
There's a lot of gun crime, isn't there? Whereas we have a bit of knife crime.
Yeah, guns, hijacking. But I mean, it's the most beautiful country. I mean, you follow me on Instagram, you follow me on Facebook. You'll see I post the most amazing scenery. I spent last week in the bush. There's, loads of photos of wild animals. It really is just a phenomenal place. If we could sort out our political issues and the crime, then hopefully we could retain more talent and not be losing them overseas.
Wow. So will you be doing that next week or the week after? It shouldn't take you long.
Well, I think maybe this afternoon before I went home.
Do you use Instagram for your business as well, or more personally?
Personally, same as my Twitter handle, Van_Raath. A lot of photos of my Siamese cat there. I'm just warning you up front. And business, you know what? I ran the It's About People one for many years on Instagram. I haven't developed an IS Partners one yet because I thought I'm just going to start with a Facebook and a Twitter for now.
Sometimes I think it should just be you, though, because people know you.
Yeah.
I still think recruiters should use it as person to person like they do on Twitter. I
tend to agree with you, especially on Instagram.
I think where I like it is, and I go on about this all the time, the corporate hashtags. So the way CA Technology gets everyone to share one and they pass it on and, then that's cool. But I still think you should have your own, like you, so people connect with you and talk to you.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I mean, all of my profiles are open, and obviously, you've got to filter what you say. But I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think I say anything that's too horrendous that can't go onto social media.
I don't filter much of what I say.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, totally. I agree with you. It's actually quite funny because my husband's totally not into social media and just doesn't get it that I put things on Instagram all the time and, make the cat do funny poses and those. But also,
my husband's like yours. He thinks I'm crazy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm always on my phone. But also what happens, and this is, it's actually not great, is that when you're running 2 Twitter feeds and you're running 2 Instagram accounts, you sometimes forget which one you're on, and then say something or you comment, and you're actually commenting under the wrong one. It caught me out of one too many times as well. So I just thought, let me just keep it simple, We'll grow it from here and then see what's needed at a later stage.
Yep.
Why are you coming up on Instagram, Audra? I'm trying to tweet this at the same time. I should never be allowed to multitask on our show.
I got rid of Instagram altogether.
Did you? Wow.
It's a long story. I'll tell you.
Oh, did you delete it?
Well, yeah, we can discuss later.
It's media tonight, though, right?
Yeah, but it's not there, so
it'll go out to Twitter. There was no cast in the shot, I promise. So is there quite a rivalry between Joburg and Cape Town, judging by LZAC going send them to Cape Town, sunshine, flowers, happiness, crime? What crime? They have crime, no?
There is. There's actually a lot of, Cape Townians are always like, oh man, we've got the mountain, we've got the sea. What's Joburg got? Joburg's got great salaries. You get better salaries and stuff here because we've got to put up with dust and all of those things. But on the other hand, we are closer to the bush. Right. Yeah. So if you want to go see animals and wildlife and the big 5, then I'm sure they've got a few in Cape Town. Cape Town's also great. They've got the wine farms. Yeah, Cape Town's cool. I live in Cape Town. I mean, I really and truly would. It doesn't really faze me.
So, Vanessa, how do you promote your clients' employer brands? Do you add that in your adverts or when you talk to potential candidates?
All of that.
Everywhere.
So, well, LZ, just on that, is that, with me being more IS Partners focused and doing recruitment for IS Partners, I always try and use that brand. So when I go and present at conferences, then I present under IS Partners, or if it is particularly for one of the other brands within the business, I'll use that because all of our brands are good. So our brands I can use them to attract people to the business. When we are when we're looking at it's about people and recruiting for external clients, I'm always very wary because I don't want candidates to go directly to the client. And I also don't always want people to see who our clients are and who we are recruiting for, because it's as easy as them popping onto the careers page and having a look. But it all comes down to, the individual. I know with my recruitment personally in the internal side, they're not going to get in or through the door until I speak to them or they've met with me at some point. It's been like that for 8 years. So I don't mind putting the name out there. But it is a bit of a difficult one.
Yeah, that's tricky.
Yeah, I think sometimes there's a lack of trust, isn't there? But at the same time, there are people who actually always want to go via an agency because they want you to do the negotiating.
You know what, Katrina, I do agree with you, but I'm finding more and more people that are actually being a bit miffed with agencies.
Yeah.
Because I think some agencies have really just given such poor service, and it really has given us such a bad name out there. And it's incredibly sad because there are still pockets of excellence in recruitment. I mean, LZ being one of them, he still knows the value of recruiting well, forming those relationships, growing a community, being networked, all of those things. But there's too many people who are kind of fresh out of varsity. I'm just doing this job to tide me over until something better comes in, and I'll do it half-heartedly, haphazardly, and it's very sad because it's
just out of varsity. Is that like just out of university or college or?
No.
Yeah. I also think you cannot do this job until you have worked.
Yes.
It's like, until you understand that importance of changing jobs. It's like, I have to say, by the way, there are a couple of agency side recruiters on this call who are also excellent. Just so
that's great.
They don't feel like they're being singled out. They know they're not anyway, but.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great in a way because it makes the good ones really stand out. But, it's like it just
makes our jobs a little bit easier. But I think that in South Africa, a lot of the power is with the candidates because I know that everywhere is suffering from the skills shortage. I know it's a global crisis. I mean, you read about in any article when it comes to talent, but it really is terrible in South Africa. So the power is with all of the candidates. So which is why I'm so big on the employee branding and making sure that the candidate has a fantastic experience throughout the recruitment process, even when it comes to interviewing with the company, the onboarding process, and their career within the organization, because they really are holding all of the power and all of the cards, so to say. So I don't know if it's as bad as anywhere else, or so. That's why I think that where a lot of people would quite happily skip out the recruiter, then, goes direct to the company because of past experiences. I think that's got a lot to do with it as well. It's maybe it's a little bit quicker for the candidates, and they know that they're in demand, so someone will meet with them.
I know something that was quite interesting, and I know I was asking Audra for an example, and I searched high and low and couldn't find any. As far as stuff to share for people, there is a bit of a career path. So someone that's in your company, where they came from, but where they can go, and like where through your company, if they've been there a few years, what changes they've had. There's nothing out there. I can't find.
I heard about them, but I couldn't get any examples.
There are no examples, like just videos, like a 1-minute video saying I started here, and actually I've had the opportunity to do this, and my next step's probably this. So someone's starting at your company, they feel like actually I'm going to be around for a while. Because no one's doing that. So
it's a good idea to put onto to our social media platforms. Like for me, I mean, I started as an internal recruiter, and that was all that I was doing. And then the roles changed and morphed and got bigger, and then the internal recruitment got too big. So then I went back to just being a internal recruiter kind of thing, and which has been really exciting. That's why it makes it a good place to work. So it's good to showcase
people
that.
People can see ahead where they could go. There just seems to be a gap that knowledge isn't being shared.
So an infographic would be really nice, like a really just simple, nice infographic, like a path. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but no, I'm not meaning that formal. I'm more like, this is where I've come from, like them themselves and where I'm potentially going, because it could change. That's the only trouble with doing. I suppose you could do both and see where it goes. I love Michael's question here. How do we set a higher bar standard for people coming into recruiting? I think there's a lot of conversation needs to happen with managers, particularly with agencies. you just want to get in the cheapest person, get them doing, you know, the gun to the head recruitment, cold calling bullshit that just doesn't freaking work.
Yeah. I agree. I think that we need to test people's EQ, because I think a good recruiter comes all down to EQ. So if this person's got the EQ in place, then I think that everything else should fall into place. For me, that's the one most important thing. And people that genuinely want to help others and want to make a difference. I mean, it's as simple as that too.
Yeah. Azette has just corrected you and said, I must be honest, I'm not a recruiter. Intruder alert.
I know, but you know what I mean.
Focus more on the advertising sides. But
John's got an interesting idea.
Yeah.
It would help to stop paying them commission, so they wouldn't be so just fill butts in seats, and not, they might actually care about quality more.
Yeah. I also think it would be so nice to just give them the time to do the candidate side. Like if I was to ever go back, which I wouldn't, I would start on the candidate side, and I would know every, you know, I pick a tech because I love tech, and I'd know every PHP person, online, offline, everywhere, so that I was the go-to person in the market, that they'd come to me because they trusted me and knew I knew my stuff. But no agency gives you that time.
Yeah. No, exactly. And that's what's so nice about here, is that I could be the go-to person in the Microsoft application space. So even more specifically, Microsoft BI. You know, that's me. It's great. It's a good place to be. It really actually is. Just looking at John's question there about attracting overseas candidates to South Africa. We could do that. It really is. It's not difficult to get around work visas and things like that in South Africa. It's just, I think we get a lot of bad publicity and a lot of bad press, and it's probably not top on the agenda of people where people want to move to.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'm a big advocate of it. I love it. It's fantastic. I think there's great opportunities here.
I wonder if there's not enough information out there about the fact that it is safe, because it must admit, I think South Africa, I think unsafe. There are other countries in Africa I'd go to first. So maybe there needs to be more information out there about what it's like to live there day to day.
Yeah.
Branding.
Yeah, just more, just general. I know, why is everybody's names just eluding me? Amy at ThoughtWorks was doing a Move North campaign, trying to get people from London up to Manchester. And so she just started with a hashtag, like Move North. There might be a Move SA. You know, trying and just demystifying. And it's just basic. I mean, a bit like you're doing already on with your Instagram, with your photos, but just a little bit more specific.
Yeah. No, because it's great. I mean, we got we're the strongest economy in Africa, and we're growing really quickly, and it really isn't that unsafe. You know what? You just got to, it's like anywhere in the world. You pick where you live, you pick where you go. You know, it's.
And what about visa obstacles?
I wouldn't say that that's an issue. I mean, we've got a lot of people from Africa working here. I mean, we hire people from, we've got people here from Kenya, from Zambia, from Zimbabwe, from Botswana, from all over the place. It's not difficult to get.
Yeah, but that's from Africa. What about the rest of the world?
Easy. We have what's called a scarce skills visa. So if you've got a scarce skill, you get a scarce skill visa. That's you for 5 years. Done.
Wow. Nice.
Okay. Yeah. So it really is easy. It's not I mean, we would obviously need to motivate as a business in order to get you over here, which we'd be more than willing to do, because we just don't have the skills here.
Well, to be fair, with the whole like anti-immigrant thing going on here and in the US, you should be able to pick up some people quite easily if you start that whole come to South Africa. We'll welcome you. We have this visa. We're not building a wall.
Well, we'll lay out a red carpet at the airport. But also, you've got to remember that we still need people who can converse in English. And I think that's a bit of a problem for, especially people that I look for, like IT developers. You know, you need to have a reasonable command of the English language.
Well, with the consultancy side, I remember doing that. My in-house role was, tough.
Yeah.
They need to speak to the business and speak tech, but in English. Yeah, fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Audra has been quiet about Boston and living there as a Habs fan. Habs fan?
I don't know what Habs means. Sorry, John.
John, in English, please.
I'm sure I should probably know.
Another obstacle is salary. I only started getting the equivalent to my UK salary when I went freelancing. Hockey, Montreal. Why is he giving you stick?
I don't know. But mine's tricky because I'm not trying to get people to come to ball. Yeah. He said, because I play ice hockey.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, how cool.
That's how she broke a leg, but we're not showing that. It's heels. There is no cast.
I know, that's shocking. I've been there, done that.
Don't show anywhere on the internet.
I'll be back this winter. I can't wait. But I don't actually recruit people to Boston because my company's out of Maryland, so that's why I don't talk about Boston that much because I'm the only one from my company.
But loads of you work remotely too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry,
so our company's 40%. Last I checked, that could be a little old now, but it was 40% remote, which is pretty cool.
So how many of your consultants work on client site, or are they working remotely?
Sure, I don't know the exact percentages, to be honest with you, but typical is that they are on client sites. Some of them are here. So if they're here upskilling or learning, or they'll be here. We also have quite a few young consultants, the millennials who, still building up that trust relationship. One of the guys who does quite a bit of our interviewing, our CTO here, it's got a really great story. In the interview, he says to the guys, when you start, I'm going to give you a bucket. And in that bucket is going to be full of trust. What you do with the bucket is up to you. And, some people obviously abuse that working from home because it's not really the norm. It's quite a new thing in South Africa. Right. I know that we're down that way, and we've got the whole gig workforce and things like that. I've done a lot of research in that space. We will end up getting there. In Joburg and Cape Town, actually, traffic is a major issue. I mean, we've just lost one of our really senior guys because he was sitting in traffic an hour and a half every day to and from work. And that's wasting 3 hours a day. I mean, it's just not on. So we need to get there. We're an IT company. We set up in order to be able to do that. But I think that we need to use it a little bit more, in all honesty. I think that we need to be a little bit more output driven. We need to get that maturity right. And it's the older generation that needs to learn how to trust the newer generation coming through the organization.
But it's really funny because it's the ones in the middle that embrace both. So have the maturity, know how to use tech and go and work remotely as well. Yeah. So I think it's becoming really common. But I mean, I've been working remotely obviously I run my own business, but, even the in-house role I did was all remote, and it's been, I can't even think, 9 years or something. And it was, you used to get that, oh, you don't work very hard because you work from home, because I might stop and go and hang my washing up. But I don't stop and make coffee. I'm not, there aren't the water cooler moments. There are very few distractions in comparison. And I need to be reminded to stop, because when I'm in flow and I suddenly look up and go, 7 p.m., what am I doing? Yeah, so, exactly. I think
it's not like you stand up and you pack up your bags at 3 because you got to miss the traffic.
Yeah. And it's lost time. I mean, but that's why I was asking if your consultants are on site or not, because the role I did here, they were on site. There were some who probably could have worked at home, but it was pretty rare. So, wow, it's all happening down the side.
Sure.
The problem, they live or work in the wrong place, yeah. Ian, all 101 people in my company work remotely. We live online. So what's your company, Ian? I should know. Absolutely should know, but I don't. Because somebody was looking for that, weren't they? One of the employer branding groups.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. They wanted examples.
They wanted examples, and Buffer's one of them. So, oh my God, we're like 2 minutes to go. Yeah, how did this happen?
Oh my word. This is too soon.
I know. I rolled up and I have an awful feeling this did not go out to Facebook, but I will sort it out.
I think it did. I think so.
Okay. It's saying Vanessa, something, I ignored it.
Can you share with everyone your blog again? I think you said it's on LinkedIn.
Oh, yeah. It's just on my LinkedIn profile for now. I'm still working on getting a WordPress site going, to be honest. It's on the to-do list. I must just finish my studies first. So it's on LinkedIn, and also company website, www.itsaboutpeople.co.za. Then it's a link to all of our blogs on there too.
Maybe you should type that in the side, because you just said that so fast.
That's a big thing with South Africans. So we speak quickly, don't we?
Yeah, so do I. But it was like, that was even.
So do I. We all do here. That's funny.
That's all good. So we're not on next week.
Yeah, we're taking a break next week, and then
off, which is all Audra's fault. That's because Audra's spending 40 hours each way on a train. I exaggerate slightly, to get to a conference.
No, you're not.
Okay, a really, really long time crossing the country. However, the week after, we have Chris Raw from Zalando, which I'm super excited about. So he's tuning in from Germany. So that will be really, really cool as well. So be sure to come back in a fortnight. Vanessa, thank you so much. So we can
cool.
This is your thing, isn't it?
Vanessa, I'll introduce you to
if people want to find
you. You could talk about blogging for her.
Yeah, please do that. Oh, yeah. That would be really, really awesome, because if I can do that, then that's almost maybe some of my battle won, and that'll be really cool. But I think I'm going to hang out to the Europe and maybe somewhere in there. I don't know.
Yeah, come to Europe anytime. I have a sofa and some manky dogs currently at feet. You're more than welcome to share the bed.
Perfect. I mean, I'm going to go look at flights right now.
Good. Bring it on. Anyway, thank you guys. Have a brilliant Friday, and we'll see you in a fortnight.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Vanessa. Bye.
Thanks, man. Cheers, guys. Bye.